G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game of Age of Mythology Retold. Today we've got two very high level players facing off against one another. A little bit of an interesting opening happening here. Already we do see that granary has been thrown down. I'm curious to see whether it's been thrown down on the other side as well. Whether we're going to be looking to lure in a couple of hippopotamus, and it looks like we indeed will. Let's introduce our players for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the southwest side of the map in the color red, playing as Thor, it's Hagrid. And on the north side of the map, in the color blue, playing as Hades, it's Scotty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nile Shadows. We're here to witness two of the world's best players go up against one another, and I'm looking forward to it because we get to see Thor. So I would say that Thor is probably not the most popular civilization, but it's definitely a more, I would say, complicated or complex. It's got a lot of nuance in the early game. It's definitely not an easy civ to master, especially in the early game, because of this dwarven armory. So this dwarven armory has the ability to train, well, I say train, to research. It's like your standard armory. You can build it in the first age, but every time you research, you get a dwarf. How cool is that? It can be a little bit of a trap though, because then you've got to start asking the question, when do you stop? Because when it comes to the Dwarven Armory, you can technically get every single upgrade in the first age. And is that really worth it? Like, if you think about it, right? Like, we're going to be going and spending 300 gold, 300 wood on our second level of shields in the first age. Is it worth it? Probably not. Is it worth it in the second age? Probably not. Is it worth it in the third age? You could probably make an argument for it then, but you shouldn't be doing it at least only for the extra dwarf. We'll say that much. But looks like we're going to have at least two of the technologies coming through here from Hagrid. Now, keep in mind, our UI at the top is swapped around. It will be a little bit confusing, but it should be okay generally, just because we do at least have the right colors. You've got the Norse background, which is red, and you've got the Greek background, which is blue. And that does match the player colors, but it does need to be flipped, but that's all right. We'll forgive them for now. Temple going to be coming up for Skadi. Nice little wall as well, so looking to try and keep things all close together. I'm curious to see whether Skadi's going to be looking to go for that VOE opening. Let's have a look and see. Oh gosh, hold on. I got to switch to his perspective first, and then we can actually click on it. So, has he gone for it? No, hold on. He can't have gone for it because the temple's not yet up. So if we have a look at the storehouse, you can see, there it is. Sometimes I click on the granary. I'm not sure why I think it's in the granary. It's in the storehouse, so isn't going to be picking that one up, at least early on today, maybe a little bit later. Temple now going to be coming up as well for Hagrid on the south side, so both players now with their temples online. Age up should be coming through shortly. We can see we do now have Athena in queue for Skadi in the north. A little bit confusing there, obviously. Skadi is a potential Norse age up as well, so that is something to consider, whereas Hagrid, a little bit less mythological, a little bit more fiction, but well, I mean, some people think he's real. I mean, the actor's real, and he's got a good beard. We'll give him that. Meanwhile, we have Forseti coming through for Hagrid on the south side. Now, let's do a quick relic review. We haven't had a look at the relics because we do now have heroes coming out. Ajax moving out onto the field here. Let's take a look in the north. What have we got? It is going to be the Thundercloud Shawl. Increases the pierce armor of human soldiers. This is pretty decent because it affects all human soldiers. Even though it's only 5%, it lasts the entirety of the game. And the fact that it affects all human soldiers, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to call that's an S tier. We've also got the Arrows of Heracles. Increases the attack of ranged soldiers and ranged heroes. 5%. Pretty decent as well. It's all ranged heroes. It's 5%. It's flat. Pretty good. I'm going to go with A. Hero still coming out here. We do see the troll is out on the south side. Meanwhile, towards the north, where is it? It's got to be out here somewhere. There it is. Minotaur chilling out. We've also got the Dwarven Calipers. Dwarven Calipers are back. Not bad. Depends on the civ that you're playing and your playstyle, but I think this is pretty decent. So I'm going to go with B tier. And then the last relic is going to be Pygmalion's statue, increasing villager hit points by 40%. This one's an S tier. There's no two ways about it. Very, very good to have, just to keep those villagers alive a little bit longer. If you can save even one villager, this immediately becomes S tier, because the value you get from having a single villager alive the entirety of the rest of the game, it's pretty damn big. Minotaur, angry. coming out. Have a look how fast that hoplite is moving. Look at the speed. Nice little pull trick coming in from Skadi as he continues to push through here at this stage of the game. We don't see any second town centers coming in for him. Doesn't look like we've got any real prospects of going up to the heroic age either. Just going to be looking to stick it out. I think both of these guys are going to be looking to try and match each other here in the classical age. And I tell you what, I think Hagrid's going to be in a good spot. Keep in mind, he does have a small villager lead at the moment. When it actually comes to the research that he's got, it looks like he's just picked up... Oh, he's picked up all 3 of those early dwarves. So definitely the right call here. You can see he's got plenty of them on the gold at the moment. Percy is going to be coming out. Is this his first military unit? I don't think it is. There's the second one. He's obviously got the troll. There's the third one at the back, dropping down a great haul. Longhouse is out, and he does have the healing spring thrown down under the town center. Going to be very hard to contest this from Skadi's perspective, but the numbers here are looking good. He's got plenty of production out, continuing to funnel in more and more infantry. Keep in mind, behind this, still no relics picked up, so one of those big ones that we're looking out for is going to be that Thunderclaw. But meanwhile, we now have the army beginning to push through. Out of everything, it's not good. Oh, the dwarves have been kicked up into the air by the Minotaur, or hit up into the air by the Minotaur. One of them will be going down. You've got to be careful. You've got to run these dwarves like a madman right now. So one does indeed go down. Hagrid going to be losing a slight Vill advantage here, but still maintains a decent presence on the field. Raiding cavalry rather, going to be joining in here, helping out a little bit. Needs watchtowers. I can't help but feel like watchtowers needs to come in, and we do see it coming through now. So a little bit of an expensive upgrade, but definitely worth its weight in, I'll say, in wood. Watchtowers now coming through. Cyclops getting a, or rather Troll getting a decent boulder off, and there's the restoration coming through. Looking to try and keep this force alive a little bit longer. He's also got Achilles here. Try and find the heal of his opponent so that he's going to be evenly matched in this fight. Manages to get a pretty decent restoration off there, I'm not going to lie. And now it's all down to this gold control. Keep in mind, there's a lot of idle time during this fight right now. A huge amount of idle time. No gold is being gathered here for Hagrid. He's completely stuck on gold. 183, that's it. 0 Vills working on it, 0 dwarves. But have a look at this. The throwing axeman number starting to build up on the back line, forcing back the opponent. Watchtower still online at this stage of the game. Minotaur stands strong despite the presence of Herseers and will get chased away. Raiding cavalry also here to tap it, and Hagrid is going to be feeling good about himself after that defense. I tell you what, I was a bit worried during that little push because that was a very strong push coming out from Skadi, but he managed to bide his time. The healing spring kept the units above water. What unit was that right then, and what is that throwing axe doing right there? Did you guys see that axe? It was giving it a real spin. Well, Hagrid has survived. We can say that much. Give me a second. I'm going to catch my breath here. Apologies. I'm still a little bit sick, so I had to have a bit of a cough. I've also got... You know what? I'm going to have to take a quick swig of the drink. Give me a second. Oh, that's the good stuff. That's the real good stuff tonight. We got multivitamin juice. That'll help us in our recovery, because we are still sick. Raiding Cav getting caught. A little bit of a waste here from Hagrid. Throwing away the Raiding Cav. If he gets them out, he'll at least be able to heal them up. So manages to keep 2. So does retain a bit of value there, but did lose 2 and obviously lost that big pressure. But have a look at this. A single hoplite now going to be coming down from Skadi. Let's have a look in the line of sight. He will now see these villagers on the south, and with this, you know that there is going to be more units. You can't just kill this one hoplite and call it a day. He's going to be back, that is for sure. The Shades working together with the Toxers on the back. Now throwing Axemen looking to move up and try and dish out some damage themselves. More and more units join the fray. Watchtower still on fire over towards this right side of the base. We now also have a great haul thrown down, looking to try and choke this position a bit more, provide a little bit more coverage as well as more reinforcements, and that is going to be a problem. 3 Toxotes now coming through. Hoplite does get taken out, but we knew this was going to be the case. Keep an eye out on this position. Vill advantage now in favor of Skadi. This is not good. This is really not good. I'm not sure if he realizes. He does realize just in time before the Vill count starts to dwindle. That would have been a game-losing position right there. If he'd lost all these Vills and hadn't realized, and you know, you come back and all of a sudden 6 Vills are gone and you've lost your ox cart and you're wondering where the hell they went, it's not a good time to be a Norse player, we'll say that much. But throwing Axeman number really starting to build here. Keep in mind the throwing axeman counters infantry quite heavily, whereas the Toxo only has a very mild counter to infantry. So it means that the Tox does quite well against the throwing axeman. The other thing to note, though, is that the throwing axeman does melee damage rather than doing ranged damage. So when it comes to things like resists, you've got 15% base resist over here. Doesn't really make too much of a difference, but once it gets a little bit later in the game and units start having higher ranged resists for specific types, I think in particular cavalry, this can become a real issue. But now looking to try and focus down these dwarves. One of them will go the way of the dodo. Numbers continue to look good here for Skadi on the offensive. He's been very intense with this pressure that he's been putting on his opponent. Keep in mind, we've still got all of these relics towards the north that definitely would have helped him out. A little bit more pierce armor, a little bit more. Although technically, do you even have any pierce armor against the Norse? What pierce attacks do the Norse have? Like Goddies? That's about it, I think. Other than the Goddie, do they even have any piercing attacks? I don't think they do. They've only got melee attacks, right? I think so. Even though the throwing axeman is technically ranged, he's melee. And apologies for calling it, you know, melee and ranged. I've got an AoE 3 background and then AoE 4 eventually. So that's the kind of the wording that I'm just used to. But rather than what are the other words? We've got pierce and we've got hack. Sorry, pierce and hack. Well, don't worry, we'll get it eventually. Numbers starting to look really good for Skadi here. He's drawing it in. Keep in mind at this stage of the game, we've got pretty decent amounts of favor for both of these players, but neither one of them has enough to call upon that second ability just yet. Speaking of second abilities, we never actually saw the Dwarven Mine utilized in the early game, so he does still technically have that in the back pocket. He's going to have to fall back away from this gold vein and might have to actually think about picking up that Dwarven Mine. Farms now coming in around the town center. We are still on one base, even in the north of the map, and there it is, that Dwarven Mine, as we suspected, has now come through. But where has it come in? This is it, apparently. This is it. Only 1,000 on it, so not a huge amount of gold. It gathers pretty quick though, 1.28. If I remember correctly, this is like 10% faster than a base gold mine. We can't compare it to the vills here in the north, just because these vills don't gather anywhere near as fast as your dwarves do. Because as you guys will know, in the lore, dwarves, miners, so naturally they're gonna gather faster. That's what that's what they do. They're from the mountains. They gather gold very quickly. All right, we can take a little bit of time to grab a breather, check on the state of the game, state of the map, see how things are going. It looks like we might have a heroic age player coming through here from Skadi, and that's probably why we've got a bit of a breather now coming in. And have a look at this. I suspect Hagrid may sense something is up. Begins sending the raiding cavalry out once again, fortunately not caught immediately upon losing, or rather leaving his base. So he's going to be quite relieved there. Finds a couple of Toxers. I don't know if this is really what you're looking for, though. Ideally, you want to find this over here. This is the good stuff. This is the mother lode right here. And the Vills realize, and they quickly get out. He's going to be moving somewhere south. Toxers will go down. A couple hoplites looking to try and defend against them. And the raiding cavalry move on their way. Age up now through. It's going to be Aphrodite. So we're going to be seeing the Nemean Lion. We're going to be seeing Curse coming out here. Really big team fight. I say team fight. Team fight's not the right word. You know, when I think of team fight, I'm thinking of like a really good big fight rather than like these piddly little raids that you have on the sides of the maps. No way. No way, Skadi. You can't get away with this. They're not going to let you get away with this, Skadi. Why are there so many hippopotamus down here? There's so many hippopotamus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you look carefully, there's sometimes ghost hippopotamus that spawn down here. That's a new bug. I haven't seen that bug before. Age up now coming through. Nemean Lion on the way. Do we have more Nemean Lions in queue? I'd love to see more Nemean Lions in queue. One of the things that I've actually started doing as Hades is I put down a second temple, and as soon as I'm in the heroic age, I immediately queue another Nemean Lion, and I queue the upgrade for it in the second temple. It's a little bit more stressful for the enemy when they see not just one but 2 Nemean Lions, and they've got the upgrade, so it's extra scary. Let's check in and see. Yeah, there's the Nemean Lion towards the top side. 800 health on that bad boy, so hopefully doesn't get picked off. And where's the curse? I didn't even see where the curse got used. It got used down here on the south side, but hold on. What? What did he curse? Did the raiding cavalry come down here? It must have been raiding cavalry. because I don't see any more of the raiding cavalry. He's got a couple of them mixed in with his army, so that had to be it. And look at the Tox numbers. Oh, they've intercepted all the vills down towards the south side. This is a game-winning move coming out right now from Scotty. As long as he can keep this game going, I mean, realistically, that vill count's still pretty even, Drongo, so maybe don't get ahead of yourself just yet. It did look good, though. Market going to be coming down. Definitely not in the trade position, so don't get too excited, all you trade fans out there. I know that there are some people that love to go trade. I was reading through the comments on the recent video. I was talking about the Osberg wagon. Somebody said, anytime I get the Osberg wagon, you know we have to go for trade. And I get that. I'm a little bit of a trader myself. House is getting burned down. We're burning down the house here. And there's the Sentinels now coming out as well. Has he just popped them around the main town center? Yeah, just around the main town center. Nothing too crazy just yet. A little bit of a weird timing to put the Sentinels down. Maybe he's sort of convincing his enemy, like, hey, I just took an expansion. That's why my Sentinels are now down. Meanwhile, towards the top side. Plenty of military on the way through. Heroic Age, nowhere near coming in. Have a look at this. It's just a huge, massive military from the classical age. Toxote's now been upgraded to heavy. Raiding cavalry looking to try and find a connection around the top side. Minotaur here, going to be able to defend and screen for them. Throwing Axeman looking to tee off as well. Able to find a decent position, but the restoration comes through once again. Hagrid is looking like he might be in trouble. Scotty managing to find a really good spot, but those throwing Axemen, they don't give up. They continue to twirl and whirl their axes in the air sometimes. Even when they don't hit the target, they still hit our hearts. Have a look at them. You got to spin to win in this game, and it looks like the throwing axemen are there's no shortage of spinning when it comes to those throwing axemen. Age up now. Finally. I say it's finally coming through. It's not. Have a look at what we've got here. It's going to be Artemis coming in for Skadi. He's going Mythic Age. That's actually insanity. It's going to be another game where we see a classical versus mythical age. That ain't a good thing. That ain't a good thing. That ain't a good thing if you're a fan of Thor right now. I'm putting my legs up, man. We're about to get ourselves a game. Speaking of game, where's the Nemean Lion? I didn't even see the poor guy. Nemean Lion, where are you, friend? He was in the battle for sure. I don't see him anywhere. Poor little guy. Upgrades starting to come through. We're seeing Vaults of Erebus finally coming through. Shaft Mine as well. Pigs looking to be brought back towards the base. Important to keep your pigs in line. Pun intended. That's a dad joke. That's a certified dad joke. That's a certified dad banger right there. Great haul from Hagrid. Trying his best to hold on. Plenty of throwing axemen. That's pretty much all he's got, realistically. Doing a decent job of defending. And now, with the age up about to come through, it's mythical age against classical age. Even though it's only for a couple seconds, we've got Skadi on the way. Skadi going to be playing up against Skadi. Let's see how deep this freeze is going to get, because undoubtedly he's going to be looking to buy himself a little bit of time. 3, 2, 1. Hit it, baby! Let me see it. Any second now. He's not going to freeze the army. He's just going to allow it. Earthquake in the base! Hagrid, trying his best to keep himself alive, now has to deal with natural disasters as well as the enemy, who is raining down hellfire on the base. Earthquake finding plenty of buildings to take out there, emptying out the base of Hagrid. Only a couple buildings left standing right there. And Hagrid continues defending, holding on with his throwing axemen. The throwing axemen army never dies. It just continues to rebuild. It's a little bit like the Grey Goo, really. It just keeps coming back and multiplying, and we don't really understand it. We don't understand why it does what it does, but all that really happens is we just get consumed by the axes and the spinning and the Glaven. Look at them go, dude. There it is, finally getting thrown down. Frost Giant enjoying the extra cold ice today. Chimera slowly getting work. God, he's doing some damage. How's he getting so much damage in on that Chimera? He is actually killing these units. Oh, the Chimera didn't get does the Chimera not get affected by the frost? And he's just frozen by the Frost Giant? Is that what it was? I think that's got to be it, right? Because you can see the Frost Giant is not doing a whole lot of damage to the Toxote here. Meanwhile, what do we got? We got a couple of Hoplites rather, back over on this western flank. little walls coming through here. No second town center taken just yet for either of these players. Despite the mythical age, Frost about to be up. 3, 2, 1. Count it out, baby. There it is. And the Frost Giants get some big freezes off. Meanwhile, the Raiden Cavalry also managing to intercept Nemean Lion. There he is. We finally get to see him. Gets a big roar off. My son, I tell you what, my son would absolutely love the Nemean Lion. He's a big fan of dinosaurs at the moment, and roars in particular. He's a very scary T-Rex. You've got to watch out for him. But Frost Giant going to be going down here. Looking to add in more throwing axemen. Still only medium at the moment. Upgrade undoubtedly going to be coming through shortly. There it is. Heavy infantry on the way. Also going to be looking to pick up the Huntress Axe as well from Skadi. This upgrade, I was speaking to the devs about it. It's actually useless. It's pretty much a useless upgrade. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. Does it offer you anything? Like, does it give you +1 range or something? I don't even think it gives you +1 range, does it? I'd have to double check it, but I just remember talking to one of the devs and being like, I don't see why I'd ever get this upgrade, ever. Double Nemean Lion now coming out. Roar comes in. Huge damage. Katy Perry on the loose right now. Second one on the backside, looking to just... Skadi victory. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. 21 minutes into the game. And Skadi unable to hold against the power of Skadi. I know that's confusing. Hagrid with the Frost guy couldn't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a nice little game right there. One base on both of these guys, but another game where we see classical against mythical. To be fair, Hagrid did age up to the heroic age just in time, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. In the end, the Toxers were just too strong, and I think the big thing was the fact that you were fighting pretty much, age 4 units against age 2 units for quite a bit there. And it just really destroyed him. The tempo just wasn't there in the end. So that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. And of course, we'll catch you guys in the next segment, the next installment of Age of Empires, rather Age of Mythology Retold. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.